I've also been asked about my perspectives on higher ed. My stepdaughter just graduated from Winona State's nursing program, and her final semester was impacted by the hysteria over COVID. But other than that, and missing the Great River Shakespeare Festival this summer, I really don't know much about Winona State's programs. Speaking of Shakespeare, after Romeo restrains Mercutio and he is fatally wounded by Tybalt's opportunistic thrust, Mercutio laments, "A plague of both your houses." Well, that's my feeling toward the Montagues and Capulets of US politics, as well as toward all those obsessed with their own identity or too afraid to speak up for people and values under attack for fear of being labeled sexist, racist, or homophobic. You ask, what does that have to do with academia? Well, as I said, I don't know about Winona State's programs, but much of academia is infected with critical theory and postmodernism, which has led to critical race theory and other intolerant ideologies that shame and scapegoat all whites, all males, heterosexual and cisgendered people, while treating all those not scapegoated as blameless victims with no agency and no accountability for their own actions. This has led to such absurdities as dumping a statue of Hans Christian Heg, an abolitionist who died at Chickamauga, into a Madison lake, or the claim that STEM is a white supremacist construct designed to keep non-whites down, and that there is no objective truth outside your own lived experience. In the real world, the objective truth is that STEM is a significant route to liberation from poverty, but only those with agency can apply the required discipline and hard work. Such absurd ideologies are inherently nihilistic. They are the real supremacist ideas, designed to convince people they are victims, have no agency, and may just as well give up. They aren't worthy of academia, but they must be countered with calm, rational thought, not censorship. I believe in academic freedom, and I support women's studies, Hispanic studies, Black history, and even the teaching of overtly Marxist theories. When I was in college half a millennia ago, a Black history course was important for me because much had been left out of historical survey and literature classes. Today, heroes like Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, W.E.B. Du Bois, Ida B. Wells, and Susan B. Anthony should be and are integrated into more general classes. Specialized courses and even departments still have value, but they should not be required for graduation, and their adherents should not be allowed to deplatform opposing ideas they find offensive. One's own academic freedom ends where another's begins. Freedom of speech must be firmly defended by university administrators, no matter the claims of those of some victims groups. If somebody needs a safe space, they can find a private place where they won't have to listen. I'm glad my stepdaughter received training in a useful, employable field. That should be the main mission of our colleges and universities, not the training of revolutionaries. Winona State should continue on that path and leave the training of revolutionaries to elite institutions where truly privileged folk send their children. Erica's nursing degree was worth the expense, but still too high. College costs have increased at a rate far exceeding inflation, largely due to bankruptcy reform. Before that reform, a cosigner was often required. Cosigners have an incentive to keep debt low and to counsel students to pursue programs that will enable them to discharge the debt. That would have put a brake on the acceleration of college costs. We paid half of Erica's debt, and I don't think most loans should be totally forgiven, but they should be interest-free. Payments should be based on income, and the principal forgiven where fraud is involved, such as Globe, or perhaps after several years of faithful payment.